Aloha, it is Dave Lawrence, and a big mahalo for tuning in and catching this. I'm very fortunate. I'm following up an interview that was just a few days ago, about a week ago or so, that I got to record it with Little Feat's Paul Barrere. Paul is coming with his partner Fred Tackett from Little Feat. In fact, has arrived here in Hawaii, and he's sitting next to me in the Doris Duke Theater. A big aloha and mahalo.
How you doing?
I'm very good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling really good to be here in the islands. Had a great time in Maui last night.
Well, any highlights? Any of the Maui stars show up too?
Well, Bonnie Raitt's bass player, Hutch Hutchison, came and sat in on a bunch of songs. We've been knowing Hutch since he played with the Nevilles back in New Orleans. And then Bonnie actually came, and she didn't come and sit in, but she was there. She just flew in that day.
And so you got to hang with her, but she didn't get up on the...
Yeah, we got to, I hadn't seen her since we did the post-Katrina jam down in New Orleans for the New Orleans musicians trying to raise money for all the instruments that they had lost.
Well, there's a whole lot of loss, and a lot of people did innovative ways to help out the community with different drives like that, too.
Absolutely. If any community can pull itself together, New Orleans is one, that's for sure, especially the musical part of it.
And sometimes events like that can lead to, it inspires charity and can kind of push people to heights of, better consciousness.
I think, the more we can, lend a hand, I think not to be too philosophical or political or anything like that, I think that's something that America has kind of turned its back on a little bit as of recently, in America itself, not so much abroad. I mean, we're always lending a hand abroad, but we need to start, reaching out to the people here in this country who need that help.
It's funny that you mentioned Bonnie, because that's someone who has lent a hand throughout her career, done a lot to try to help out whenever there's been a moment. And I had her literally right almost at the top of my question list, and all the way back in '74, Feats Don't Fail Me Now, she came into working with you, at least on record. Had you worked with her before that?
Yeah, when I joined the band in '72, we recorded Dixie Chicken, and she came in and sang a little bit of backgrounds on some songs there. And we kind of started dating, actually, at that time. And so Little Feat had already done this tour where she and Freebo came out, and we were supposed to open for her, but she said, no way. You guys, I'm not following that with just a bass player.
Who would do that to themselves?
So it was, it was a great time, and I think that's her social conscience came from way back from her childhood, and then of course all the time she spent in Cambridge, and learning from all the best blues musicians, thanks to Dick Waterman, who was her manager at the time. She always had an ear for the music, but more than that, a heart for the people. She helped so many like Sippy Wallace and Fred McDowell, and it astounds me how her energy just keeps going, and reaching out on new efforts to help, humanity.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, definitely, she's done a lot with her career like that, and that's cool that you have that connection with her. Are there any memories that come to mind when you think of working with her back on that critical record?
Nothing that I could say on the radio.
Those are the best stories. They're good because you can use your mind to wander. The last time when you and I were talking, we talked about what was a historic gig for you. Your first gig, really, with Little Feat was at the Crater Fest here in Honolulu. It was actually called, I looked it up a little bit, it was called the Easter Festival. Does that remember?
Yeah, I still got the poster for it. I can't believe it, too. It was Easter time, and it was like... Sam and Kenny and I had just joined the band. We had finished rehearsing. At that time, Warner Brothers acts got to rehearse over on the Warner Brothers lot. So we were rehearsing on this sound stage that had these giant teeth and a big Crest toothpaste thing. It's where the old Bill Cosby used to do the Crest toothpaste commercials. And it was surreal, to say the least. But we learned a bunch of songs from Sailing Shoes, and we learned... a few songs that had never been on record, like El Dorado Slim and Wait Till It Hits the Fan. And so, we started touring, and this is the first place we came to, and it was a great time, very windy.
That's cool. You still have the poster. Do you have the thing about you that has got to be you got to really enjoy being known for having upstaged. You kind of mentioned it yourself that Bonnie Raitt wouldn't want to have Little Feat opening for in 1975 the Warner Brothers music show. Bands on that tour, notoriously a lot of the reviews, because I did some homework before talking to you, everybody complained or all the writers said that you guys upstaged everyone else on the bill. Tower of Power, Doobie Brothers, Montrose. That's always been sort of connected to you and your performance, upstaging others.
It's not by design. We just would go out and play the way we like to play, and we had this reputation, especially in England, of being a musicians band. And so when we played the afternoon show with the Doobie Brothers, there was a lot of musicians in the audience, and they just wanted to hear more Little Feat, because when we got off the stage after our 75 minutes or something like that, they wanted us to play more, and they unfortunately let the Doobies know it, and forever I'm good friends with them. I just had dinner with Pat over in Maui, and we're always apologizing for that.
It's great. I mean,
but then again, it's hard to get work. Hey, can we open for you guys? No. Oh, okay.
Because of that intensity that you bring along. And as you went through the years, there were some other opportunities that really showed off that you are, another factor about you guys is, and you mentioned this too actually so far, your resilience as a band. And flash forward to the late 80s and Let It Roll. And I remember I was in high school, and man, was that a catchy song. I mean, that was the song you're driving to school in the morning, and it was like, this band is back. What did it feel like at that moment?
Well, it felt really good. We, when we started planning and writing the songs for that, we said that we had to, the one criteria was that we had to make sure that the quality was every bit as good as the past 9 records. Otherwise, there was no sense in doing it, because we didn't want to be a nostalgia act. We didn't want to go out and just parade the old Warhorse songs and go on. We wanted to keep creating and expand the parameters, if you will. And so I did this funny sort of test with playing Dixie Chicken and then Hate to Lose Your Lovin', and you couldn't figure out which one was from which era. And I thought, well, we're on the right track here.
The Little Feat litmus test.
Yeah, because we're kind of timeless, and I think that was a record company nightmare, because oh gosh, it's the 80s. Can't you guys be a hair band? No, we don't have hair. I mean, it's like.
But a roots rock hit you had.
It was a radio hit, but that whole album was well received, and it got the ball rolling again. And now we've been rolling 22 years, something like that, since that record came out.
It's just huge, and has such great memories for me attached to it. 1991, a few years ahead of that, Grateful Dead gigs. Any memories of playing, I believe it was Giant Stadium, I saw you, 80,000 people 2 nights in a row playing with the Dead.
That was fun. I remember walking through the parking lot and feeling something hit my leg, like water or something. I went, oh no, I hope that's not one of those DMSO LSD trips hitting me, because the parking
people are known to do that
for that. And but I remember us, we played during the daylight, and then they had this commercial on for a Levi's commercial, and it was clearly the Dead's music, and they showed these people just rocking out and everything, but it was daylight. It wasn't at nighttime when the Dead were playing. So I went, wait a minute, that was when we were playing. That was one of the memories I had of that. The show at Oxford Plains up at the racetrack was just amazing. It was my 40th birthday, and the audience, I think there was 40,000 or something like that, sang happy birthday to me. We were there for the 4th of July, and we played the 3rd and the 4th, and my birthday falls on the 3rd, so it was pretty astounding. And the guys in that Dead just couldn't have been nicer. I mean, they just treated us with open arms and everything. And then the last show we did was up in Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon. And somebody did dose our road manager, because he was a basket case, and we had to get him to the plane as opposed to him getting us to the plane.
Just not a surprise when you're dealing with the Dead gang.
Yeah, it's all good, clean fun. You know?
Exactly. Very clean at times. Some of I would think about lyrics sometimes. In Time Loves a Hero, were you the lyricist behind that?
Myself and Billy, we wanted to write a song that was, it was, loosely based on this band that I had been with before. We had a song called "I Don't Want to Be the Vinnie Van Gogh of the Radio." In essence, you make good music and you don't get played until you're long dead.
The posthumous thing.
Yes, exactly. And it started from that, and then we got a little bit more deep into it, and it's like, what is actually a hero, and how does time, basically, how does history depict certain heroes and so forth? I mean, when you look at, for instance, and this is a horrible example, but it's true. Post-World War II Germany thought of Adolf as being a very strong, heroic sort of figure. It wasn't until they got into it that all of a sudden they went, "Oh my God, we're..."
Right. There were decades of denial.
Yeah, we've been hoodwinked, and there's a lot of American political figures that I could go into with the same feelings about, some who were proclaimed to be idiots and so forth, like Jimmy Carter, who, in hindsight, did some wonderful things and continues to do wonderful things. So, it's, who knows what place in history our music will have,
But that's a great context.
Music will have. So that was the whole idea about Time Loves a Hero,
I like that, how you've described, especially using Carter as a reference.
Yeah.
Just because of all the stuff he did afterwards. I mean, he went on to really try to do good after his...
Yes, absolutely, and still does. He's the same with Bill Clinton, who, people just sort of make fun of, but yet his foundation and so forth has helped, so many in Somalia and the Sudan, and he reaches, broad spectrums of people.
It's cool. You've attached yourself to a lot of folks who do good. Before I let you go, one final question. You've collaborated with a couple of cats that I'm not familiar exactly with what you did with them, and forgive me for that, but I'm curious. Your website and other places of resource credit you with what did you do with Dylan? Bob Dylan is listed.
Basically just toured with him. We, when I was playing with Phil and Friends, in 2000, and we did 7 weeks, Billy and I.
Summer of 2000.
Summer of 2000.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it was great. And Bob had been in a show that we did back when Lowell was alive at the Bottom Line in New York City, and I hadn't seen him since then. And the very first day he walked up and said hello to me, or like, how are you? It's been a long time. And I went, man, I couldn't believe it. And he was just, a lot of people think that Dylan is, conceited or something like that. He's a very shy man, and he just kind of wants to be left alone. Fred ran into him at the first inauguration of Clinton, amongst the thousands and thousands of people, in a freezing cold overcoat, hoodie, sweatshirt, but the hoodie was up, and it was like, he's just trying to be anonymous, and just be part of the scene, so that's basically my, connection with Mr. Dylan, who's, I find, probably one of the world's greatest writers of lyrics and music.
Yeah, he's epic, and I saw that too. Yeah, I was looking around, I was like, I can't find the material. I guess that's what they...
Fred actually played in his band with when he was doing his whole sort of Christian thing.
Okay. Yeah. He's gone through so many periods. Yeah. He's a survivor like you, and thank you. I've really had a good time getting to pick your brain, and I just offer up a warm mahalo for taking some time for me.
What time is it, Dave?
It's almost 4:20 by my...
Right.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.